As you withdraw your sword from the vile Brainslayer, you hear your two companions groaning as they slowly come round. They explain that the Brainslayer drew them into the cavern and they were powerless to resist. You examine the chamber and see another door in the opposite wall. There are also two clay pots in a recess in the cavern wall, one red and one grey. Yeah, we'll look inside the pots. Find all three metal shapes. Well, I assume we kind of need this. Lying at the bottom of the red pot is a square metal disc which you decide to put in your backpack. Let's look inside the grey one. Lying at the bottom of the grey pot is an old parchment scroll with an unbroken wax seal. It's probably a magic scroll. But hell. As soon as you begin reading the scroll, the writing starts to fade. Yep, it's a magic scroll. And I failed the skill check. The writing fades away before you have the time to read it. You lose 1 luck point. That is unfortunate. The door opens into yet another tunnel, and you begin to wonder whether you'll ever find your way out of the caverns of the Snow Witch. I still don't see why we didn't just go fight our way through the goblins. I mean, the goblins, you can kill them. You look at Red Swift and Stubb, but they do not appear to be very concerned. The tunnel soon ends at another door, and you notice a dagger sticking out of its oak panelling. I wonder if it's a mimic. Let's pull the dagger out. When you pull the dagger out from the door, it suddenly takes on a will of its own. Involuntarily, you start to stab at your own leg with the wild dagger in your hand. You lose 2 stamina points. Red Swift and Stubb run to your aid and try to force your hand to stab the door in order to trap the dagger. Never. Oh no, my luck was that. Survive your own murderous hand. The things in this book. Straining with all their might, your friends manage to force your hand against the door. The tip of the dagger sinks into the wood and you're able to release the handle. Feeling quite relieved, you open the door. The door opens into another tunnel which leads off into the distance. Stubb begins to complain about being tired and hungry, so you decide to sit down and rest. As you still have Turkish Delight, you eat one yourself and give one each to Red Swift and Stubb. After resting for half an hour, you set off again and eventually the tunnel ends at a T-junction. Oh, I'm out of provisions. So right-hand path is the path of justice, so let's go right. The tunnel ends at another door, and old piece of parchment is pinned on it. There is faded writing on the parchment, but you do not understand the language. Knowing that elves speak many languages, you ask Red Swift to try and read it. As he reads, his eyes widen with terror. You ask him what is wrong, but he refuses to reply. He rips the parchment off the door and tears it into tiny pieces. He turns the door handle and says, "Let's get going. There is no time to lose." You and Stubb look at each other and shrug your shoulders, deciding simply to obey the troubled Red Swift. The door opens into another tunnel. After walking down it for a few meters, you come to a place where water is dripping down continuously from stalactites overhead. Man, there's so many things that I haven't got from this place. I do not have a shield. Experience a particularly nasty shower. Yeah. The water looks harmless enough, but you do not relish the thought of being wet as well as cold. But you have no choice, you must walk under the gentle waterfall. As you do so, you suddenly notice your clothes are beginning to smoulder. You start to run as you realise that it is not water ripping down, but deadly acid. A trap no doubt devised by the evil Snow Witch to deter runaway servants or slaves. You cry out in pain as the acid burns into your skin. You lose 4 stamina points. Oh man, I'm starting to get worn down here. By the time all 3 of you have run through the acid shower, you are very demoralised. You lose 1 luck point. Nevertheless, you press on resolutely. The tunnel runs straight on until it opens out into a cavern. The walls are covered with ice and a large glass globe stands on an ice plinth in the centre. A rock runs into the cavern from the tunnel opposite, and the globe immediately starts to radiate light. The outline of a face takes shape in the globe, one which you recognise, the Snow Witch. Her encased head starts to laugh, and then you hear her speak in a chilling voice. She says, "Although you killed me, you have not defeated me. My spirit can still defeat you. Watch carefully." The York, who is standing by the globe, grips the metal collar around his neck and cries out, gasping for breath. His green face bulges as he desperately tries to stop the collar tightening. His efforts are futile and he soon falls silently to the floor. The Snow Witch's image sneers contemptuously and says, "I have no use for servants any longer, and I know that 2 of you are still wearing my obedience collars. I will enjoy watching you die next. as a forerunner to the agony I have in store for your impudent warrior friend. You refuse to watch Red Swift and Stub die helplessly, and you rack your brain to think of a way to overcome the spirit of the Snow Witch. Will you try to smash the globe with your sword? Try to run through the cavern into the opposite tunnel, or fire an iron ball from your sling at the globe if you have one. Damn it! Can't I use my warhammer? That should work too, right? Running away is pointless, so... Just before your sword hits the globe, a bolt of white light shoots out, trapping your blade. A searing pain rushes up your arm, and the image of the Snow Witch laughs at your unsuccessful attempt to defeat her. You are unable to release your grip on the handle, and you drop to your knees as the intensity of the charge increases. You black out and do not wake again. Your adventure ends here. Okay, I think I may be at a failure. Let's try to run through. As you run past the globe, a bolt of white light shoots out from it, hitting you in the back. If your stamina total is 10 or less, turn to 44. We have more than 10, so that's good. The energy bolt, which hits you, gives your system a terrible shock. You are knocked to the ground by its force. You lose 1 skill point and 4 stamina points. Still suffering from the effects of the energy bolt, you have to decide quickly what to do next. Just stand up and run, 262. If I'd rather try to smash the globe, well, we know what that does, so run. With friends like these, slay the zombie replicas of your friends. Oh dear. As you try to stand up, the Snow Witch concentrates her powers on Red Swift and Stub. Their metal collars tighten and they both clutch at their throats as if gasping for breath. You struggle to your feet, yelling insults at the Snow Witch, mocking her cowardly way of dealing with defenseless slaves. You challenge her to a combat of whatever type she wishes. She laughs, saying, "Even though I have beaten you, I enjoy games. I will play." She releases her stranglehold on Red Swift and Stub and falls silent, obviously devising some fiendish contest. Suddenly you hear the sound of shuffling footsteps coming from the tunnel opposite. An elf and a dwarf enter the cavern. They look almost identical to Red Swift and Stub, except that their vacant looks and putrid white flesh indicate that they are both zombies. Man, look at them. Look at those zombies. Crazy. The Snow Witch tells you to fight them while she invents a game for you to play. The zombies lumber forward and you are forced to fight the terrible replicas of your friends. This is not good. They have the edge on the skill, and we don't have much health left. Okay, this is good. Okay, this is also good. This is tense, man. I don't want to go all the way back. Ouch. Clicked a bit too late to jog the dice. I mean, if I have to go all the way back, at least I can keep 1 iron ball, but... Ouch. Come on. Oh no, I have to fight the elf. I don't think we're gonna... Yeah, no. You are dead. That's all it gives you. Let's see, that was the skull, which means the witch must be somewhere around 21. Okay, no, later than 21. Later than 21. 148. Oh, even later than that. Oop. Oh, is it? No, because I'm currently there, so it won't show the bookmark. Let's try 4. Here we go. Oh no, there's the fucking sentinel. So if that was for... What's... Here we go. Right, we take all 600. I'm not leaving here without all my gold. So we're going to lose the box of teeth. We'll get rid of the warhammer. Now I've got 2 iron balls. So I'll drop the... I'll drop the cloak, I don't need that. Oh come on, let me choose the one with the iron balls. Yeah, I mean, the flute was used earlier, right? And we got all the way up to the snow witch. I don't know what her challenge thing will be, but whatever it is, I'll probably need these more than anything else. So I'll drop the flute. Alright. Page 171. Let's see what happens if we turn left this time. Okay, so it's slightly different. The first bit's the same. Before Red Swift can continue, Stub shouts and points to an orb lying on the floor. It is made of glass, and in the torchlight it seems to glow with swirling colours. Leave it, commands Red Swift. We do not need it, and it could be a trap. Fuck it, let's pick it up. When you pick it up, the orb starts to get warmer, and its colours change rapidly and swirl around. Red Swift and Stub back away, telling you to put it down. Let's throw it down the tunnel. You hurl the orb as hard as you can down the tunnel. It shatters when it hits the ground, and there is a blinding flash of light followed by a ball of white heat which rushes up the tunnel. The heat is so intense that a scorching blast reaches you before you can move. Yep, that's not so bad. You regain consciousness to find Red Swift and Stub attending to your burns. I don't like to say I told you so, Red Swift says sarcastically. You try to walk, but the pain is too severe. We'll have to rest here, says Stub, looking concerned, but it won't be long before the Snow Witch's goblins find us. There's nothing you can do but lie down again. Sometimes lucky. Time passes slowly, but no goblins appear. The rebel slaves must be winning the Battle of the Caverns. Eventually you feel fit enough to walk, and with the help of Stub you manage to hobble down the tunnel. After walking for another 5 minutes, the tunnel turns sharply right, and right again a few meters further on. You soon arrive at a junction, and after a discussion, you decide to turn left rather than continue straight on. Oh, I see. Okay, so that part is slightly different. I don't mind going back to this one. Let's turn right, like I did last time. Because I want to check the white footprints. As soon as you step onto the white footprints, large hailstones the size of walnuts rain down on you. It is impossible to avoid being battered by the heavy ice walls. You lose 2 stamina points. The shower stops as abruptly as it started when all 3 of you get past the footprints. Cursing the bewitched caverns, you press on down the tunnel. Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. My health is still okay, isn't it? Yeah, I'll chomp down one of those. That's the same. Ooh, someone else gets the chest this time. Stub draws the short straw and reaches for the handle, cursing his luck. As soon as he touches it, it comes alive. An asp curls itself around his hand, and before he can shake it off, it sinks its poisonous fangs into his wrist. He falls onto his knees, clutching his wrist, and with his other hand... No, clutching his wrist with the other hand. Red Swift quickly draws off the poison with his knife. Luckily, the dwarf has a strong constitution, and he soon recovers enough strength to continue. The tunnel ends at a T... Ah, that's right, the caveman, yep. Poor caveman, let us take him down. We win. Take his shit. We are wearing an amulet. Alright, this time it's an even battle. Oops, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Alright, that takes care of that. We look inside the red pot. Now let's try and do the parchment on the Let's see if we can see what's in this scroll this time. That's better. Read the spell on the scroll before it fades away. Let's have a look-see. Before the writing fades away, you learn a spell which will protect you against an attack by an air elemental. You gain 1 luck point. You memorize the words Gulsang Abida, and then decide what to do next. Man, this is way more expansive than I gave this book credit for. We leave. We do not pull the dagger out of the door. We do that. Okay, add bookmark. The last one went right, so let's go left. The tunnel soon comes to a dead end. An ornate shield hangs from an iron nail on the end wall. Really? Ugh. It's one of those bullshit 50-50, go the wrong way, don't get the item deals. Let's take the shield. As soon as you touch the shield, a howling wind starts to blow down the tunnel toward you, almost knocking the 3 of you off your feet. Then you see a whirlwind coming down the tunnel, gathering up all the rocks and stones in its path. If the words Gulsang Abidar mean anything to you, turn to 53. Taking the shield has unleashed the fury of an air elemental. Fortunately, you remember the words on the scroll and utter them as the elemental draws near. It disappears as quickly as it appeared, and all is calm again. You sling the shield on your arm, gaining 1 skill point. Oh yeah. And walk together back down the tunnel and past the last junction. We have a shield, so we can ignore the acid, I guess. The water looks harmless enough, but you do not twist to get cold and wet. You place the shield over your head and walk under the gentle waterfall. You throw the shield back for your companions to use, and you are soon on your way again. Alright, here we are. Back at the Snow Witch. Let us fire an iron ball from the sling. You quickly load your sling and aim at the globe. Don't fail me now, dice. The iron ball flies straight and true. When it hits the Snow Witch's globe, a bolt of white light shoots out from the globe and towards you. Oop, never lucky. The energy bolt slams into your chest. If your stamina exceeds 10 in total, turn to 51. The energy bolt gives your system a terrible shock. Yep. You sit up and see that the Snow Witch's globe is cracked, but she appears to have come to no harm. She watches you carefully, ready for your next move. Oh dear. So we get back to the zombie bit. Let us see if we can take them down. We can beat them at a game of Skillstone. We outskill them 2-1. Dwarf zombie dealt with. Just a little bit more. Actually, that was fine, wasn't it? Alright, 1 more hit. 1 more. Oh wait, that was... yeah, that's fine. Alright, we're in. The Snow Witch looks surprised and displeased by the defeat of her zombies. Suddenly she says, "The game you're going to play is called Discs. You will not win, of course, but in the unlikely event that you do, I will give you the chance to escape. I hope you have remembered to bring along your discs. Without them, you lose." She laughs sadistically at the thought of making up the rules on the spur of the moment. Nevertheless, you must play as directed. We do have the discs. The Snow Witch quickly explains the rules of her game. She tells you to choose a disc and conceal it in your clenched fist. She will call out a shape. A square beats a circle beats a star, and a star beats a square. If you win, you'll be given a chance to escape. If you lose, you will die. If you both choose the same shape, you will play again. Your life depends on your next decision. Now you must make your choice. Of course, if you do not possess all 3 discs, your choice will be limited. Well... square is paper, right? Star is scissors, and circle is rock. So she's gonna go rock, so I'm gonna go square, because everyone always goes rock. Ha! Basic logic, right? The Snow Witch stares at you for a long time before calling out circle. You smile and unfold your clenched fist, revealing the square metal disc. You have outwitted her and she realizes the consequences. The globe starts to fill with white smoke and suddenly it shatters, the image of the Snow Witch disappears. Her shrill cry fill the cavern, but she is defeated. The three of you slap each other's hands in celebration. However, your joy is short-lived as you hear an ominous rumbling. The ground beneath your feet starts to tremble and huge cracks appear in the ice walls. The roof starts to cave in. Is this the chance to escape that the Snow Witch promised? Oh, look at that. Super lucky. By some miracle, you are not hit by the heavy chunks of falling ice. When they finally stop crashing around you, you are surprised to see the welcome sight of blue sky above. The three of you waste no time clambering out of the ice cavern, and you find yourselves on the side of the mountain. It is not even snowing, and everything looks tranquil. As you climb down the mountain, you tell your friends about Big Jim's son, and the circumstances that led you to enter the caverns of the Snow Witch. You realize that Big Jim would have presumed you were dead, and you decide it is not worth chasing after him to collect your reward for killing the Yeti. Really? Without any further ado, you agree to accompany Redswift and Stubb to Stonebridge. That's 50 gold he owes you. It's just, why not? Your journey south is long and... wow, it goes on. Your journey south is long and arduous, but your determination to leave Icefinger Mountains behind you spurs you on. 2 days after leaving the ice caverns, you reach the River Cock. 50 miles upriver lies Fang, the town where Baron Sukhumvit's notorious death trap dungeon awaits its challengers each year for the Trial of Champions. If you want to buy that book, just, go ahead and buy it, kids. However, at this time of year, Fang is unlikely to be more interesting than any other river town. You decide against going there and walk downriver to find a bridge or boatman. After walking for half an hour along the bank of the wide, dirty brown river, you see a man asleep aboard a raft moored to the bank. You shout to him and ask him to ferry you across. He tells you to go away as he is too tired to work today. You know what? I've got so much gold. Let's buy our way across. The boatman jumps up and says, "For 10 gold pieces, I'll ferry you all the way to Fang. Jump aboard." Damn straight, 10 gold is a lot. You pay the greedy boatman his money, and he soon ferries you across the river. From the far bank, you set off south across the pagan plain for Stonebridge. You have not been walking for long when you see dust rising in the distance. Redswift puts his ear to the ground and says, "Horses or centaurs? I can't tell which." We beat the... How is the game still going? We've beat the cavern! Let's wait and see who is approaching. Whoa, centaurs. With really ugly mouths. Jeez. The thundering noise of galloping hooves grows louder, and 4 centaurs come into view. Each one is armed with a bow and quiver of arrows. They stop almost at once in a line before you, keen-eyed and ready for any move on your part. Their leader is obviously the one with the ugly blue scar running down his face and chest, and he is also proudly carrying a spear and shield and wearing a horned helmet. Pay them to take you to Stonebridge, or just talk to them briefly and be on your way? I'm inclined just to talk to them. You ask the centaurs if they saw any monsters during their gallop north across the pagan plain. Their leader looks at you sternly and says no. Seeing your wounds and bulging backpack, he asks if you have just returned from a treasure hunt. Which is probably a bad idea, but I think I can take on some centaurs. I'm in good nick, right? Yeah, 19 out of 21. Sure. The centaur suddenly rears and charges forward, thrusting his spear at you. His lead and charge at Redswift and Stubb. You have to react quickly to defend yourself against the centaur bandit. Just do it. Ha! And ha, I say again. Fight on. The only thing you're is death! Ooh, schooled. As soon as they see that their leader has been killed, the other centaurs retreat. You stop Redswift and Stubb from chasing after them. If you do not already possess a shield, you may take the one lying on the ground next to the centaur leader. You gain 1 skill point. Try on the centaur's helmet. This ought to be good for a laugh. The horned helmet fits you perfectly, and it is a fine addition to your armor. You gain 1 skill point. Man, I am freaking tripping skill right now. 12 out of 10. Red Swift takes the Centaur's spear before the three of you set off for Stonebridge. What is happening? Why is the game still going on? I don't understand. Marching quickly across the plain, you do not encounter any evil creatures. To the east, you see the forbidding shape of Firetop Mountain. If you want to buy that book, then go ahead, kids. Reaching into the sky. Does the Warlock still rule the depths of Firetop Mountain? Stub asks inquisitively. You're just about to reply when you see somebody walking towards you. You draw your sword, but when the person gets closer, you see that it is a little old man carrying a sack over his shoulder. He stops in front of you and says, "Put that sword away. There's no point in killing me. The only thing that I have to offer is information, and that costs money. Pay me 2 gold pieces and you won't regret it." Sure, why not? After putting the coins carefully into a hidden pocket, the old man tells you to be careful of 2 things if you are travelling to Stonebridge. Firstly, the nearest waterhole has been poisoned, and secondly, there are lots of hill trolls gathering to the north of Stonebridge. He bids you good luck and farewell and walks off. Stub urges you to set off as quickly as possible, worried about the possible attack on Stonebridge by the hill trolls. Whoa, it's an Aarakocra. The flatness of the plain becomes monotonous and you forget to keep constant lookout. The reflection of the sun on your armour has attracted a group of flying predators that you do not notice circling above you. They are humanoid in shape, with large wings, and they swoop down on their prey to kill them with their sharp claws. There are 4 of these birdmen above you, and one of them suddenly lets out a shrill cry and swoops down to attack you. Test of my luck, always lucky. You just manage to draw your sword in time to defend yourself against the diving birdman. It veers away slightly, but turns to attack again. Let's do it. No. Come on, man. We don't have any provisions, so we don't have time to be messing around. We are equally matched, sir. Or not. It's Clash of the friggin' Titans here. Oh. Phew. The other birdmen who are circling above you fly east after seeing the first birdman killed. Frightened that they might return with a huge flock, you decide to run across the plain. The sun is now overhead and you begin to sweat profusely. You become unbearably thirsty and curse the fact that you have not got a water bottle. You finally reach a waterhole, but you feel like screaming when you see the body of an ogre lying face down in the water. It's been poisoned, so we better not. You do not wish to risk drinking the water. However, your thirst makes you weary. You lose 1 stamina point. We are still alive.